Hi there, Working Homeschool Mom. This is Charlotte Jones from Charlotte Jones 24/7 and My Little Homeschool. And this is episode number 47 of the Strike a Balance podcast for Working Homeschool Moms. And today I'm looking at what was meant to be 10 reasons not to homeschool, but I could only find 8. So we're going to be talking about 8 reasons not to homeschool and how to overcome those doubts. Before we get into the episode, I would just love to ask you if you could please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It really helps to get it in front of the eyes of other working homeschool moms because it's really important for me to support as many working homeschool moms as possible. Thanks so much. Hello and welcome to the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte Jones. I'm a homeschool coach and homeschooling mom of twin boys. I know it can feel really overwhelming to keep all the balls in the air all the time. So each week I chat about tips and strategies for being a happy and thriving working homeschool mom that you can implement in your life too. I also speak to awesome and inspiring women who manage to juggle homeschooling and work successfully and find out what their secrets are. Be sure to check out my time audit and mindset challenge in the show notes and sign up to my newsletter for lots of cool freebies. And if you ever need to chat, please book in a session with me. I'm so excited for you to be here and I hope you'll get so much value out of this episode. So let's get started. Are you looking for a new math curriculum? Well, I'm thrilled to introduce our favorite math curriculum to you. CTCMath specializes in providing online video tutorials that take a multi-sensory approach to learning. Favorably reviewed in Cathy Duffy's 102 Top Picks and the old Schoolhouse crew review, the lessons are short and concise to help your children break down concepts and appreciate math in a whole new way. The lessons are taught the traditional way and not to a test. Each one of the video tutorials is taught by an internationally acclaimed teacher, Pat Murray, who is renowned for teaching math concepts in a simple, easy to understand way and in only a few minutes at a time. Using a multi-sensory approach means having the combination of effective graphics and animation synchronized with the voice of a friendly teacher together with a practical assessment. This three-pronged attack makes learning so much easier and more effective. Even students who struggled with math are getting fantastic results, and ones who were doing okay before are now doing brilliantly. Visit ctcmath.com today to start your free trial. CTC Maths is generously offering my listeners an amazing special. Go to www.ctcmath.com/MLH to get a half-price discount plus a bonus 6 months for free. That's ctcmath.com/MLH. Today I'm going to be talking about 8 good reasons not to homeschool and how to overcome these doubts. And the funny thing is that it was meant to be 10 good reasons not to homeschool, but I just couldn't find those other 2 reasons. And it's because I'm one of homeschooling's biggest fans. So you might even be surprised that I'm actually looking at reasons not to homeschool. But I think it's super important to look at homeschooling from all angles before jumping in so that you can spot any possible obstacles before you get started. And don't worry, I will give you as many reasons to homeschool as reasons not to homeschool, so that by the end of the episode, you'll feel confident enough to at least give it a try or to keep going. So reason number 1 not to homeschool is if you have a fixed mindset. Having a fixed mindset is a surefire way not to have a successful homeschool. For example, if you're a working homeschool mom, you're going to encounter many difficulties, and it's inevitable with everything that you need to fit into your day. And with a fixed mindset, these issues can quickly feel impossible to overcome. They may seem so daunting that you don't even want to start. And I get it. It can be scary to embark on this journey. But if you see these possible hiccups as a way to learn and grow, you're going to do just fine. So the growth mindset, which is obviously the opposite of the fixed mindset, means that you're going to be willing to try hard things, that you can move on from difficulties or mistakes, and that you learn from these mistakes as well. And very importantly, that you give yourself a pat on the back for trying. Reason number 2 not to homeschool is if it's not your priority. If homeschooling isn't your priority, you'll find reasons not to do it. It's going to be hard to find the time in your busy schedule to homeschool if it's not that important to you. So knowing your values and goals is the best way to find time for things that matter to you. So it's a good idea to figure your priorities out and to see if homeschooling is actually even on there. It will also help to know your why when times get tough, because homeschooling will probably not be plain sailing all the time. It very rarely is. So you're probably going to need to dig deep sometimes to keep going. And your why will help you during these times. I think it's really useful to write down your values and goals somewhere and to refer to them regularly. It also helps to check in with yourself to make sure you're still on track. And being mindful is a really good practice to break through the noise and to see what's really in your heart. Comparison is the third reason not to homeschool. Comparing will give you lots of reasons not to homeschool. It's definitely okay to be inspired by other homeschoolers, but trying to copy what they're doing will lead to disaster. So it could raise your expectations so much, and this is a surefire recipe for disaster and disappointment. And you could try to emulate families that have a totally different reality to you. This is not possible. The added pressure to be something you're not will make everybody miserable and exhausted. You may not be able to find your unique homeschool style because you're too concerned with what others are doing. So the simple way to avoid comparison is not to do it. I know it's easier said than done, but maybe staying off social media is a good start, and also really looking at how your kids learn and crafting your homeschooling around that will also help. And once you're able to lean into the uniqueness that is your homeschool, you'll start to reap the benefits. So don't be afraid to do things that might seem strange or even counterintuitive. And it may take some time to figure it out, but it will be worth it to spend the time to find your unique path. Reason number 4 not to homeschool is to do it without a community. Homeschooling can be a lonely path to take, especially if you're a working homeschool mom. There are so many elements involved that it's easy to feel like it's just too much, and that's why not having a community can be disastrous. So without a community, you will feel alone and isolated. Things may become so overwhelming that you actually decide to quit. And it's possible that you think you're doing it all wrong, and you could have no idea where to even start. Going it alone is never a good idea. We all need some kind of support on our homeschooling journey. This is especially true if we don't have direct support or help from partners, family, or friends. If this is you, then you can find community in other places. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok are full of supportive homeschoolers, and you may be lucky enough to have homeschoolers in your neighborhood or town. Join them if they're a good fit for you. Reason number 5 not to homeschool is if your kids aren't into it. Homeschooling should be a joint effort between kids and parents, and you're not going to have much luck if you force your children to do things they don't want to do. This is how you create resistance. And I have to say, I'm quite an expert in reluctant learners. As I've said many times, my children are neurodivergent, so they tend towards reluctance as a default. And getting them to do things they don't want to is almost impossible. And it can be frustrating, exhausting, and bad for your family connection to do this. You obviously have the best intentions for your children, but if they're not on board, it's going to be useless. But if you're willing to face this problem with an open mind and an open heart, you could convince your kids to be homeschooled. Here are some things that you could do. Firstly, you could involve them in their learning. If they can have a say, they're going to be much more motivated, and they will definitely not have that opportunity in public school. You should prioritize your connection over academics. The relationship you have with your kids is more important than anything else at the end of the day, and it's longer lasting than school as well. Be open to what they have to say. It's better to treat them like autonomous humans than followers who have to obey everything you say. And you could offer them opportunities to socialize if that's what they're craving. Often kids want to socialize with other kids, and that's why they want to go back to public school or go to public school. But there are many ways around this. They could take part in sports or extramural activities or hobbies, or even join a co-op. And let them change their minds. We're all allowed to make mistakes and change our minds. This is how we learn. If they say they want to go to school and then change their minds, allow them to do it. Reason number 6 not to homeschool is if you want a pristine home. So having a Pinterest perfect house is often not possible when you homeschool, because your home is going to serve many different purposes at the same time. So it's really, really hard to keep it clean at all times. If this is a non-negotiable, then it's going to be hard to create an environment that's conducive to learning, because learning can and should be messy and chaotic. But obviously, I have solutions for you. So one thing to do is to involve your kid in chores. Homeschooling is the perfect way to actually teach them to clean and how to do laundry and things like that. Another thing to do is to declutter your home. Once you get rid of the excess stuff, it leaves room for things that matter, and it just makes cleaning it much easier as well. And if you have the budget, you could also get someone to clean it for you. And if you're lucky enough to have the room, you could have a dedicated space for homeschooling, preferably one with a door so that you can close it. Reason number 7 not to homeschool is that you will spend a lot of time with your kids. And if this is something that fills you with dread, then maybe homeschooling is not for you. I'm not sure if you're a homeschooler and you've ever been asked by non-homeschooling parents how you do it. And have they ever said that they could never do it? I've heard these 2 sentences many times. I definitely don't want to shame other parents. We all have our own motivations, values, and goals, and homeschooling may not be part of them for everyone. We all need to parent our kids in the way we see fit. But if the thought of spending so much time with your kids is also scary, then take heart. You're not alone. I also used to be happy when weekends and school holidays were over, but my motivation to homeschool has always been much stronger. So if you really want to homeschool but can't see yourself spending 24/7 with your kids, there are some things that you can do, obviously. Firstly, you could outsource your homeschooling. You could send your kids to a co-op or use online classrooms where other teachers can teach them. You could also do homeschool swaps with other families. And this way you'll also get breaks from homeschooling. And you could allow your kids to do all the extramural activities and have loads of play dates. This will obviously be good for socialization and will also give you a breather. And something else which I find works really well is to set boundaries around your time. If kids know that homeschool time is homeschool time and work time is work time or cleaning time is cleaning time, you'll also be able to have some breaks during the day. And the final reason not to homeschool is if you hate making food. When you're homeschooling, you'll soon feel like you're running a restaurant. When we started out, the kids basically ate 24 hours a day. I think they were so thrilled to be able to eat when they wanted to that they just went crazy, and it was a nightmare. And you've probably seen the funny homeschool memes about second breakfast, but it's really no joke. And if this is something that's going to drive you mad, then homeschooling is not going to be manageable without some planning. Once again, there are ways to overcome this. You know me, a solution for every homeschool problem. So one thing to do is to have consistent meal times. This is best for everyone in the family, even if it could take some time to get used to this. You just need to get them through that initial period where they just want to eat because they can. And it will also mean less cooking for you and more structure for the kids. You could also give them access to lots of healthy snacks that they can get on their own. So my boys like fruit and rice cakes and frozen fruit lollies. As they're healthy, I'm happy for them to eat as many as they like and they can help themselves. And batch cooking also helps a lot. Granted, it takes a little bit more effort over the weekends or whenever you do your batch cooking, but you'll definitely reap the rewards for the rest of the week in terms of ease. If you really don't want to homeschool, it's going to be easy to find lots of reasons not to homeschool. It's a tough path to take and may not be for everyone. But at the end of the day, if you are motivated to do it, you'll find the solutions to all your doubts. And with time, you'll also build confidence. I'm not saying that eventually it will become easy, but you will have more tools to overcome the tough times. That being said, if you are struggling, please reach out to me. We can have a look at your doubts together and find a way forward that suits you and your family. As always, I'm here to support you and to cheer you on. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Drop me a DM on Instagram or post on the Working Homeschool Moms support group over on Facebook. And let me know what resonated the most with you. It would also be great if you could rate, review, and subscribe, or share the podcast with a working homeschool mom who might need it. It's my mission to support as many working homeschool moms as possible. Until next time, take care